welcome to Natural 6. This is session 0 of the world of Reliquia. We've rolled our characters, we know who our heroes are, and now it's time to see how they met. So without further ado, should we play some Dungeons and Dragons? Let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. Before time, before sound and song, colour and light, before mortal memory, a battle raged. The gods of good, evil and chaos, known as the virtuous, the vile and the wild, fought for control of existence. And when this war finally ended, it was the virtuous who triumphed. And being driven by a desire to create, having destroyed for so long, they called into being a world, Reliquia, a vast and verdant crater surrounded on all sides by a towering mountain range called the Alanites, a world in which mortality could multiply and flourish, each of the virtuous bringing forth a race in their image and imbued with a spark of their divine being. So mortality came to be. So began a time known as the immortal peace. Yet peace has never meant perfection. Mortals still lie, cheat, murder, extort, and expose one another to terrible cruelty. And there are still the hopeless, the desperate, the lost, and it's souls such as these who turn to the web, a nefarious, shadowy organisation that offers protection, procurement, and power at a price. Those who find themselves caught within its silken threads may extricate themselves by 2 methods, by gold or by servitude. There are some who bind their families to the web for generations, so strong is their desire to achieve their ends. Yet, despite the disparate paths that led them there, all agents of the web are united in the knowledge of one thing, that they are not free until their debt is paid. There is no escape from the web, for their eyes are as to the stars in the sky, and the web is wide. 5 agents of the web are moving now. In the northeast of the continent, 2 days' journey from the city of Brack on the edge of the northern swamps. And I'd like everyone to roll me a d20. No modifier. So, 15 to 20.
Natural 20.
Start as you mean to go
a
on.
nat 1 on the character roll to a nat 20 on the first roll of it. Unbelievable.
Anyone else in that 15 to 20 bracket?
17.
17. It's consistent.
18.
Oh my goodness.
Who's got 19? Oh my god.
It's okay, don't worry.
10 to 14. 5 to 9.
8.
8.
It's okay, honey.
Okay, don't worry.
1 to 4.
It's okay. I got a lovely 4.
Lovely 4. That's a beautiful 4.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, Dolly. It is night, and it is cold. The first moon of the new winter hangs snow-bright and full and throws long shadows across the ground. Mist is curling slow around your ankles, hovering above a dew chilled almost to frost. You can hear your footsteps cracking in the fast freezing grass. There's a smell of wet earth hardening, of mulch and dank dead leaves that fell before the grip of winter. You've been instructed to journey here alone and in secret. In this, as in all things, the web insists on discretion. Allow you to describe your character, please.
So if anyone was kind of in the vicinity, they would probably hear a light tinkling on the breeze before they actually saw anyone. But that little sort of jingle just kind of, it mingles with the crunching of the ice and a very light footfall. And out of the darkness, there's someone shaking a hood off of 2 black horns that sort of like curve backwards. with a lot of intricate gold inlaid in the horns. They sit atop long white hair. And as the hood comes off, you see a very pink-tinged tiefling woman who has a lot of very sort of intricate clothing. She's got like a little jacket with lots of sort of coins and embroidered sort of just different colors and stitching all over and lots of like jingling on her hips as well. And as she's kind of like looking around and coming to this spot, you know, her eyes are looking up around and you can see they're bright yellow irises. And she's kind of like, and she smiles slightly, puts her arms up and kind of does a little dance like nobody's watching as she kind of like is, you would think she doesn't have a care in the world. Is standing quietly, having a little moment to herself.
Could you roll me a perception check?
That is... that's a 3 plus stuff.
Okay. Can you roll me a stealth check?
8 plus 6. Okay, so wonderful. I'm a 14.
14.
Very stealthy.
So...
So stealthy, I didn't even know what I was doing.
Lost yourself.
It just materializes.
So there is another figure moving through this grass, this undergrowth. And you see a humanoid, curled black horns, gold glistening, her arms across her midriff. You see her taking in the moonlight. Why don't you describe your character and tell us what you do?
So, I am very low to the ground, crouched very low with black hood up, red trimmings on my black and red leather armor, but poking out from underneath it. We've got some horns sticking through the hood. You see the claws digging into the ground, and a red, orange, flowing into some, on the tips of the scales, yellow, scaly skin, sniffing the ground, very, very low, nostrils wide. You can see the breath coming through as he takes in, sniffs the ground, following a sort of a scent, looking up, and just stopping and freezing, and just taking in, and then very confusedly looking up at the moon and trying to figure out a sort of, what are you looking at?
Roll me an insight check.
So that's 15.
Plus your wisdom modifier and proficiency if you have it. I don't know if you took
I'd have no
proficiency.
wisdom.
That's the end of that sentence.
No wisdom modifier. So it's a 15 and then
15, so it's a raw
Yeah.
15.
roll 15.
So, you know, I think in the culture that you come from, you've been aware that some people are particularly attuned to the seasons, and this just looks like someone who is in tune with the moon. Whether it's worship or veneration, or it's just a feeling of someone being at one with it. That's what it looks like to you.
And my response to that is to reach around behind, and just very cautiously, not in any kind of a, it's not with any aggression or anything. It's just like it's just a pure kind of tentative cautiousness. Just slowly draw a dagger, and I remain still, like frozen. It's the sort of, if you don't move, movement attracts attention, and I just watch, and I'm just gonna maintain a slight distance for a second, and just observe and wait to see what the next move is from this humanoid.
Okay. Dolly, up ahead of you is an estate. You can see it in the distance. Walls, and then the verticals of trees, the tops of them, backlit and standing out in hard shadow. And just about beyond those verticals, you can see the roof of a building. You've been instructed to journey to the family mausoleum in this estate. And ahead of you, you see a gate of raw iron and 2 stone pillars either side of it.
I'm gonna sort of like pull myself out of my reverie a little bit, but keep twirling. I'm gonna just twirling, always twirling, up towards the stone pillars and sort of like see if I can get a better look. See if there's anyone else like on patrol. If there's any lights, any distinguishing sort of signs of life.
Mm-hmm. Roll me perception.
That is 9.
A 9.
Yeah.
As you are twirling towards these stone pillars, having a sort of subtle attempt to see your situation, understand the lay of the land, you notice that the pillars have had thorns carved into them, vines and thorns that are carved into the stonework, and they wrap and twist around it, and they converge on the top in this tangle of carved blooms, like roses. And you realise with a start that there is a figure stood next to one of these pillars. And Dellingham, would you like to describe your character?
Here we go. Yeah. So Endelians stood tall, stood proud, stood noble. Their clothes are simple, but they're practical for someone who is carrying a rather large sword with a hand grips another smaller, a dagger maybe. The sword's basic, it's beaten, it's definitely seen battle, but that dagger is different. It's special, it's ornate in some kind of way. It must mean something important to them with the way they grip it. They're obviously wearing armor, half armor, it's practical. They can still move quickly, but they're ready to take the blow if they need to. The hair, red, tied back, but tied up. It's ornate. It carries itself in that special way. It's not messy. They're in the cold. Their body, their human body, obviously doesn't do particularly well in the cold. They're feeling stiff as they are trying to look around to see what they see if they can find what they're here for.
And roll me a perception check.
Unlucky for some, but 13.
13. Okay, so certainly with a 13, you are kind of waiting next to these gates, these pillars. You've been blending in with the stonework, with the shadows this night. And you hear a little jingle, and you see a little spin, and a tiefling is spinning towards you like some kind of top. Almost collides with you.
As Dolly finishes her last turn, it's gonna transform straight into a boy and be like, "The web is wide."
And its eyes are as stars to the sky.
Thank God. And she, you can see that her hand that ended up down here, it was right beside her dagger, but it now releases slightly.
But mine does not.
I roll me stealth.
There's a 10 plus my 14.
Plus your proficiency, 16.
Oh, 16. Yeah, sorry, yeah, 16.
So,
Once again,
Four.
16.
God, he's good.
God damn.
So again, you have managed to track this spinning tiefling undetected.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear those familiar words. The web is wide, their eyes are as to the stars in the sky. And you recall that being an indication that you belong to the same, for want of a better word, pack in this moment.
So, in that moment, there is an immediate release on the dagger, and I'll put the dagger back in. Still not totally comfortable, still remaining close to the ground, and aware of the fact that while, I've heard these words, and they sort of bring a little level of comfort, these are still two figures that are bigger than me, taller than me, slightly imposing. And just as a kind of, I'd like to cast Mage Hand with the intent of sending forth my Mage Hand as a sort of almost a greeting to tap on the shoulder.
Which one do you tap on the shoulder? Do you tap the...
I tap Dolly on the shoulder.
Okay, so Dolly, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
I immediately start spinning again. And the dagger is in my hand. But as I see it, Mage Hand, I guess. I'm gonna try and see where it's come from. If I haven't seen it move, it's like right there on my shoulder, I assume.
Yeah, it's come right up behind
Okay,
him.
I'm
Just
gonna
a little.
slice right there.
I tell you what, roll me, let's say Arcana to see if you can locate the source of the spell.
That is a 17.
That's a 17.
Yeah.
Okay, almost as if this Mage Hand has left a vague spectral trail, like a kind of disappearing, disparate cloud of light that this Mage Hand has left, like smoke. And you see, crouched in the undergrowth, a small pair of eyes just blinking.
You know, I really hoped I'd get through tonight without killing one person, so if you could just...
And at this moment, there's just a little clawed hand just goes. No words, just that.
Puppy? Is it? Come here. Come on.
I actually respond really well to that. It's a really positive response. And I just take a little scurry forward, and as I do, I kind of come up onto my hind legs and step forward, aware that I'm stepping a bit more into the moonlight, and pull down my hood. And I also say, the web is wide.
Oh. And its eyes are to the stars in the sky. Oh, I didn't know we'd... Oh, okay. I'm sorry, that was a little bit rude of me.
I remain relatively silent, and I just simply bow my head a little bit, and I keep a little bit of distance still. So not stepping right up to them, but just maintaining a bit of distance and awareness at all times.
Well, you seem friendly at least, unlike some of us.
Can both Endelian and Dolly roll me nature checks, please? So it's wisdom modifier, and unless you have proficiency, it'll just be your wisdom.
12, but no modifier for me.
Mhm.
8.
Neither of you are quite sure what you're looking at.
It's a given.
The face is reptilian, but the face isn't dragonborn. Dragonborn is typically what you'd encounter in this world if you were faced with something reptilian. Perhaps you've heard rumours of an alleged race of smaller reptiles, but the kind of creature you're looking at you've never seen before. And before you are the gates. Raw iron, open to the estate, a path of white limestone leading through it.
In this moment, looking at them, aware that there is a silence, and they're very clearly in a state of uncertainty.
Yeah, roll me an insight check, why not? With that 0 to wisdom.
That one.
It's the first one.
Woo! This situation, this is going well.
Okay.
This is a really, you were worried that it would be tough to meet new people, but actually, this is going great.
Okay.
Everyone seems fully on board. There's you can detect a fondness actually in their gaze, particularly from the red-headed one. She seems to be particularly open to an immediate kinship, friendship, and sense of community.
Okay, so without a beat, back down on all fours, and I scurry forwards, straight up, and I'm immediately up on hind legs, and as is a greeting for my people, I raise up my hand, palm upwards like this, and I go, "It is I."
And I look at it and go, great, it's cold-blooded but warm-hearted.
I maintain my hand up. I just do a little look up from my eyes, like, with a smile, with the teeth grinning, which I feel is very warm.
Absolutely.
But with
that insight
sharp
check,
teeth.
it really is.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a single gold piece into his hand.
I look at the gold piece.
Yay!
I take the applause. I grin wider, very confused, but happy to take the gold piece. And I take it, I place it in my pouch, and raise my hand higher to the redhead.
Wow.
This is the sign I need. This is the friendship. The slight touch, and I take my hand, and I sniff.
Endelian.
My parents never would give me a pet, and this is probably why.
So our gang having become a 3, you stand before these open gates. To the left, you can see the path widens, and you can. I'll tell you what. Everyone, roll me perception. Let's see what the light. Oh, just the 3. Yeah.
9.
11.
17.
Okay, 17. Dolly, you can certainly see the outline of a mausoleum. This triangular-shaped roof, and another gate beyond, a low wall around it, and what look to be monuments, small monuments, almost like ornate gravestones.
Well, I don't know how many people are supposed to be here, but since the 3 of us are here now, shall we? I mean, I assume you're here for the same thing I am.
Who knows, but we won't finish it if we keep standing around.
We could stand around here all day. You know, we barely, I mean, we don't even know each other's names yet.
Do we need to?
Well, might be nice.
I again hold up my hand and say, "It is I."
So, your name is I.
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 Okay, all right, we can work with that.
And then I say, "And where you go, I goes."
That might be a problem when I need to use the bathroom, but sure. That's sweet. Thank you. Well, I'm Dolly. Hi.
We. You is Dolly, I is I, we is we.
We is we. We need to work on your grammar, but that's okay. It's a good thing I'm good with words. We'll learn a lot. It'll be fun.
Indelian. And that's enough.
Okay. Friendly, I love it.
So you start to move through down this limestone pathway, and to your left there is a copse of trees. And you notice with your perception, Dolly, that sat beneath a tree, staring up into the canopy and the stars above, is a figure. And Doug, why don't you tell us what that figure looks like?
So I'm sitting beneath the trees, marveling at the beauty of the shape of the leaves and the night sky above and beyond. And what you see is a dragonborn, and of a kind of a golden color with red freckles across his eyes and on his arms. And you can see a bladed weapon, the hilt of a bladed weapon just sticking up behind him. And at his feet, he's sitting in a cross-legged stance. Sitting cross-legged. And in front of him is a staff. And he's wearing a worn but serviceable brown woolen cloak. And the head's down, and you can just see that he has these little whiskers, little golden brown whiskers, and you can see that one of them has been cut off, and there's a scar across his lip where that whisker was cut off.
Roll me a perception check, if you would, please.
Perception. Crazy. 22.
22.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
Everybody's going to want these dice now.
So, with a 22, you've heard the introductions, and for reasons that are your own, you've still been more interested in the sky and in the shapes of the leaves and the shapes the shadows make across your face and the blue light of the moon and the glistening stars above. But you've heard the three of them approach, and you hear them stop, and you can only assume they're looking at you.
Welcome. The web is wide.
In that moment, I would like to turn to both of my new companions and immediately go, "Is good. They is we." And I run forward on all fours. I step forward and I go, "Their eyes are as the stars in the sky." And keep my hand up, waiting.
This hand appears in front of you.
I look at this creature, and I see in it all the beauty of nature in all its strange forms.
And I grin wide again.
And I take from a pouch at my waist, just reaching it, an acorn, and I place it into the palm.
I'm not displeased to have the acorn. And again, I reach forward, and I take the acorn, and I put it in my pouch. And I keep my hand up, and I raise it higher, with the smile, and a little...
What a day you're having.
An acorn and a corn?
Gifts.
So the hand hasn't moved.
Well, little brother, I am not sure what it is you are after, but you are a scaly one, aren't you?
And I look up and I say, "We is we, and we will work on this." I lower my hand.
So do you join them on the path? Or do you...
I am intrigued by this creature. I have never seen a creature like this before. And having heard the conversation, I am aware that these beings are here for the same purpose that I am. So yes, I rise, towering above the scaly creature.
And I just very slightly go,
Hello. Oh, you're quite tall. So these two don't say a lot. I mean, you've met
"Aye."
uh-huh.
Aye.
And this one has told me their name, and that's about it. But hi, I'm Dolly, and I think we're all here on the same purpose. You seem really in a thing right now, but we're here to help.
I am Kelnis.
Kelnis, hi.
It's very nice to meet you, Dolly.
Indelian.
And Delian. A few words yourself, are you?
The web is one of few words, so I don't need to add any more to them.
Well said.
Well, this is going to be fun. Shall we, guys?
So-
She's just going to keep, like, she's dancing to her own little beat.
As you move further towards this mausoleum, you see that it's kind of covered in the sort of elaborate stonework that you would only carve in a time of peace. It's the only time you'd ever have a chance to make something so florid and purely ornamental. And in the same vein, just off to the side of the gate that leads in towards this graveyard, cemetery, there is a fountain. And a figure sits on it. You hear the gentle plop of stones into water. This rhythmic, almost metronomic plop of stones into water. Why don't you describe your character for us?
So what you see is a character who is entirely shrouded. A very simple hood, black. The darkness of his clothes contrast quite remarkably with the hue of his skin. It is bronze, it almost glistens in the night. And through his hood you can see white hair, like the whitest of the white. And the skin, you can see these long, beautiful hands are throwing these stones metronomically into the water, and on the hands you can see scars, hideous scars. The most beautiful skin you've ever seen, destroyed, savaged. And then you look up to his face, and his face is the most beautiful face you have ever seen. Savaged, scarred. Hair white, one eye completely white. The other eye seems to change color almost as the moon passes. And you will come to know that that eye will change color with every passing second. It will never be the same. And he just sits there, quietly throwing stones into the water. His name is Radiant Thornbear.
So, Radiant, roll me perception, see how much of this you've taken in.
6.
Hey! Was it a natural 6?
No, it was a 4.
Oh, well, that sucks for us.
That would have been annoying.
Because that would have been a marvellous
It was-
moment.
Radian doesn't seem to care about this much. So he wasn't really paying attention, because one thing you will learn about Radian is he has things on his mind, he has things to pursue. People aren't that important to him, so he only listens precisely when he means to. Everything that has just happened is of no value to him whatsoever.
So the four of you see this figure. Doesn't seem to register your approach. Throwing stones.
I'm going to hop up onto the side of the fountain and just do a little bit of balancing act. Hiya! Are you here for this whole thing too? I don't know why there needs to be 5 of us, but you know.
Radian looks directly. I've been waiting for you.
Well, you know, we had a whole thing at the gate. Then there was this guy, there was that guy, he was doing a whole meditation thing. I don't know. I mean, you got to give them a little beat. But we're here now, so.
Radian gets up, he looks at the entire gang, and simply says, "Is this all of us?"
And I immediately scurry forward, and I reach into my pouch, and I pull out the acorn and the gold piece, and I reach up and offer them. Because this is now how I perceive everyone has to greet each other. This is not, I am adjusting to, what is apparently the new cultural norm. And I hold up in one, the acorn, and in the other, the gold piece, and I say, "I is I."
Radian looks down, picks one out, and then the other out, and says, "Thank you, my friend." And then he throws both of them into the fountain.
I stand there, and I watch as my gift is thrown, and I process, and I think, I will understand this later.
So, the four of you are before this second gate, this gate that opens in to this cemetery with figures. And again, a path sort of snakes through these figures. They've been curated, laid out, different heights, some of them. Some seem to be given greater prominence. What do you do?
Is there anything else we can see? Is it just all these?
Let's everyone roll me perception.
Yeah.
Let's have everyone roll a perception.
It's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Woohoo!
15.
Just so we're aware, I rolled a natural 2.
Sorry, eyes wide shut over here as well. 4.
Yeah. Kel?
We're adding our modifiers to it, yeah?
So you would add your wisdom modifier and your proficiency if you have proficiency in perception.
Don't think I do. So, 8.
8. Right. So, Dolly, what you would certainly notice is, at first you look at this and you think, all these figures are elven. They're in this alabaster stone. Some of them have been worn a little by time, but other than that, they all look to have been made of something high quality that was meant to last forever. Some of them are in warrior-like stances. Some hold their hands down by their buckles as they prepare to draw swords. others in more pastoral settings, some with hands clasped, potentially in prayer. But what you do notice from where you are is that there is another figure crouching behind one of these alabaster monuments. It's not moving, but it looks to be humanoid in its shape. But from where you are, you can't make out much more than that. The rest of you, by and large, take in a mausoleum, a graveyard, a mausoleum beyond, ringed by a wall.
On a 15, how much do I notice about?
You would notice that you'd certainly notice the racial makeup of these monuments. You'd notice the quality stonework, and you'd notice these different attitudes of these statues. But you don't see that figure crouched.
It's such a beautiful night for a walk in a mausoleum, but I do prefer that the majority of people here are, not going to do us any trouble, that most people are dead, people that were where they're supposed to be. So let's get a closer look at what's going on over there.
Okay. So how do you want to move forward? Do you want to stealth forward? Do you want to just...
I'm just going to stroll forward.
You're just going to stroll forward.
Mm-hmm.
So you stroll forward. Roll me a d6.
3.
Okay.
Oh God.
She's dead.
You all. That's mad. You all died. I didn't think that would come. I didn't think a 3 was going to come up.
We're now natural 5.
You recognise the figure, but the figure is made of stone. Dark grey, porous stone. It's a halfling called Fennel. You have been on operations with her. You know her to be a rogue of great proficiency. Someone who can not only slip into the shadows but manipulate the mind. But as she is crouched, etched in stone here, her likeness, you see one hand attempting to cover her face, and the other extended out, but it stops at the elbow. And as you see the parts of her eyes that are still visible through her fingers, you see that those eyes are widening in fear.
Okay, nobody panic. I feel like we may be in danger, guys. Look alive, maybe.
Are we now aware of this?
Did you move over? I mean, Dolly moved over. Did anyone follow
My
her?
instinct was I was going to be almost at the heel.
Okay,
sort
you
of
can
crawling
be at the heel.
heel.
Absolutely. What about the other 3 of you? Where did you?
Well, I was not perceiving anything, so I went in a completely different direction and was looking somewhere else. So
Great.
This is all not happening for me right
Great.
now.
And Delian?
I would have noticed them move off, but I wouldn't have instinctively followed them.
Mm-hmm. And Cal? Calness?
I think in my role, I would have followed behind, but at a discreet distance, observing.
So, I think let's deal with I first. You see this figure, and you look to Dolly for a reaction. Roll me insight.
11.
You recognise fear, or you recognise a quickening of the breath,
Okay.
that something's happening.
Okay.
Something's happening that Dolly wasn't anticipating.
My immediate reaction is to just start sniffing the air to pick up anything. It's an immediate sort of sensory.
Okay. Yeah, roll me perception.
That is an 11 again.
There's 11.
Yeah.
You hear the night. You hear the far-off occasional calls of birds. You hear the wind in the trees. You hear the rustling of the leaves. You hear nothing more than that.
Do I see the statue?
You see that statue, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I move forward, still sniffing, and I begin to sniff this.
Roll
this
me
statue.
investigation. which is your intelligence modifier plus proficiency if you have any.
So investigation is intelligence. Why am I not finding it?
You can't find your stealth, you can't investigate your investigation. I can't wait till we have you roll athletics check.
It was a +1.
It was a +1.
8.
An 8. This is made of stone.
Okay.
Radian, roll me perception.
A 6.
A 6.
The first natural 6.
The first natural 6! We did it! Guys, we did it. We finished D&D.
Yeah, we completed it.
You're just taking in the night. Taking in the monuments. From where you are, you're not looking particularly. You certainly don't see very much. Let's go back to Dolly.
Well, I'm seeing in front of me someone I knew very well to be an extremely proficient negotiator, tactician, strategist, someone who was very rarely caught with, unawares. So I'm immediately on my guard. I'm going to have my dagger at the ready and just scan the surrounding area, see if I can see anything out of place, and I'm gonna motion to everybody else, like, up to you, but we're kind of in trouble here, guys.
Roll me perception.
That is a that is a 10.
Okay, the longer you look, the more you see. The more you see that dotted throughout here are more figures. More figures made of dark, porous stone. You can't make out their shapes, but perhaps the pattern of what you've seen will hold. That's all you know at this moment. Everybody else, roll me a perception check, and let's just see as you actively start to scan and scour this cemetery what you see. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ben.
What I love about Radian is this is of no importance to him. You rolled a 1. So he's going to be the last of all the people to discover what this is. Radian will be the last.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And Delia, what do you get?
I rolled an 8, but I have a -1 on proficiency. She's
Great.
strong, but she's dumb.
She's strong, but she dumbs.
She's strong, but she's dumb. So no, 7 for me then.
Okay, even with a 7, I think when you've been alerted to it, you start to spot these dark stone different figures. I don't think you quite put together what's happening. Kelnis.
20 with the modifiers.
20 with the modifiers. Okay. You recognize one of these stone figures. A half-orc who you know. It's called Xerxes. And he was known as a bodyguard. He was a big old hunk of meat. And he might not have been the brightest, but he was brave. That was the thing about Xerxes, his bravery. And as at first it's so incongruous to see him as he is. Because this figure is down on one knee. He has one leg sticking out behind him, that the foot is gone. His shoulders are hunched, and as you get closer, you see there's a tear, a stone tear that's been captured running down his cheek. And from off towards the mausoleum, you hear the sound of stone cracking.
I don't wish to alarm anyone, but something sounds terrible.
Too late, already alarmed.
What did you get?
I got a 7.
A 7. You've never been with this disparate a group of people. The thing that you're struck by more than anything is just the colour and the sound and the strange smells and the jingling of coins and you're still hearing the sound of stones dropping in water and trying to figure out what the hell the acorn was about. The acorn is the thing that's sticking in your head. And so your senses are so befuddled that all you're doing is looking to the others for clues.
Okay.
But once Kelnis calls your attention to it, that sound of stone splintering, cracking, becomes easier to hear. And before long, you've all tuned into it. It seems to be emanating from near the mausoleum.
I'm going to take off running towards the mausoleum.
Okay.
And as I was at your heel, immediate reaction, because I saw you draw your blade, I'm going to, because I've got 2 daggers, I'm going to just unsheath and all fours, still at the heel, pursue as well.
What about the other 3?
Absolutely joining them. Swords out if they've heard something. Let's go.
Yeah, Calnis?
Okay, I think I will just again follow at a slightly discreet distance. I'm curious. I've heard something myself. I've seen my buddy Xerxes in a very compromising position.
Yep.
And I see them head off, and I kind of just follow behind
Endelion.
I'm just curious.
So we have Dolly and I right in the vanguard, and Delian, who was maybe 20 feet behind them, continues at that pace, stays 20 feet behind, and Kelnis another 10 feet or so behind, just taking the lay of the land. Radiant.
I'd love to roll another perception test.
Sure, you can roll a perception again.
Just to see if he's actually noticed. That'd be so fun.
Am I giving him too much credit within that one? I guess I am.
An 8.
An 8.
So finally, after all this ruckus has happened, I think maybe Radian's attentions have been elsewhere, focusing on something else in the back of his mind that he can't quite shake, something that doesn't feel quite right about being here with this group of people. I think Radiant finds it incredibly hard to trust anyone here. So he sees Cal move on, and he just kind of huffs and follows suit.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Because the dice have been good to you so far.
Let's test the theory.
The dice have been good to you so far.
It's a 3.
As you start to...
Oh no, but that's with...
so add your dexterity, so you have
I have a 15 on dexterity.
So you have a plus 3 to
three,
your dexterity.
plus
So that's a 6.
Yeah.
A 6, a good score. Maybe the best score you can get, actually, on certain
6,
type of die,
yeah.
which is good. As you move with a relative urgency that you haven't moved with before, the importance of the moment starting to strike you. You stumble and you go right, you walk right into a figure, a stone figure, and you recognize the figure. It's Ashraf, who is a spellcaster. You've encountered them before. And you remember their flowing silver hair and their command of magic. They were a sorcerer. These strange surges of magic that seemed to emanate from around them and within them, and their control of it was what you remember. And their hair is caught in motion. And their hand is extended, 2 hands extended as if casting a spell, but their face is just pain.
Yeah. Radiant goes very, very close to Ashraf's face, kind of runs his very scarred hands over the face, kind of touching it, feeling it out. And I think he realizes what it is. There was something very special in his relationship with Ashraf. Someone that he trusted, which I believe Radiant finds it very difficult to do. And there's just something in his eye, like a twitch, like an anger, like a seething anger inside of him, like this calm is like there's a rage there. And he almost kind of touches him, realizes what happens. The rage dies down. He almost looks at him as to say goodbye, and then follows everyone inside.
Okay. So as the 5 of you come upon the mausoleum, as you approach the mausoleum closer, let's have the 2 in the vanguard roll me perception checks. A lot of perceiving. There's always a lot of perceiving.
And an 8.
8.
5.
God,
And a 5.
7, 8. No, this is weighted, I'm sure.
you're running at such a pace that you're ever so close before you see it. But you see a lumbering, 8-legged lizard. Blue scales and its back, this mass of rusty red spines. And in its mouth, you see the last of a stone leg disappearing. And that's the noise. Everybody roll initiative.
What is it with lizards today? Natural 6.
Natural 6. Okay, let's
Nat
go.
20, baby.
Okay, so let's go. So we've obviously got a nat 20. I'm guessing no one beat that.
Nope.
Apart from Doug.
16 to 20. 10 to 15.
14.
14.
I have a 12.
Okay, so that is that, and then that is that. 5 to 9.
7.
9.
9. Great. You act first. You see this lumbering creature. I'm going to roll a perception check for it. Because this could kind of work out or could go very badly. So let's... Okay. You're all right. It hasn't yet looked up. It will look up at the start of its turn.
Okay. So, first of all, immediately, I look back at Kel and I go, is we? I sense that this is as soon as it sees this, I mean, I know that this is not going to go well for us.
I think you would roll an insight, but I mean, the DC is
It's a natural 20.
okay.
The dice were weighted a second ago, and now we love these
What a
dice.
great world to use it on.
Yeah.
2 in a row. 2 in a row. That's like 1 in 400, 4,000.
I'm feeling it.
Anyway, yeah, this thing is malevolent. This is
Okay.
the thing that is making those noises. You've been around rocks, never seen a good person eat them.
Okay, yeah. That's a very fair point. Okay, so my immediate response is, what sort of distance do we have at the
You are
moment?
30 feet from it.
30
You
feet, which is my-
ran in not really looking where you were going.
Okay, so
you are
30 feet
close.
is my speed. I'm going to sheath my daggers and pull out my crossbow. Is that going to be an action if it's switching?
No.
weapons?
We can have a bit of fun with that.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm immediately going to pull out my crossbow, and again, I'm going to turn to Kel and go, "It's not we."
Just to let you know, by roll, I just need to find the minimum range on a crossbow because it might.
Yes,
be the case.
I was about to say.
how far is
it
that?
50,
60 maybe?
60?
Well,
is it?
I've some minimum range crossbow. This is a good little test. I think you're not in melee range, so I think that would be absolutely fine.
Okay.
It has an effective range of 80 feet to 320.
Okay.
But I
And-
don't see why you couldn't fire a crossbow at someone from 10 yards.
Out of curiosity, Mage Hand
Mm-hmm.
can pick up what sort of weight?
It can hold,
5
I think,
pounds or
10
something?
pounds. So
Okay.
it can't hold a crossbow. For
Okay,
you.
no. But I would like to cast Mage Hand, and immediately, first thing, aware that this thing is about to perceive us, I would like to, with Mage Hand, pick up the...
And I can't stress that enough.
With
With
Mage
Mage
Hand,
Hand.
because I would also like to say, I'm a little kobold weakling. I would like to pick up the biggest rock or chunk of stone that maybe has fallen from the mouth as it has consumed something, and I would like to throw this stone behind this beast in an attempt to create some sort of noise that will immediately distract it behind it and not let it look up. And do you know what I mean? Its immediate response is to look the opposite direction of where we are.
Okay, roll me an Arcana check.
Okay.
It's going to be a relatively small rock. I mean, it can only be 10 pounds, so it can't be a truly substantial thing. But 10 pounds is a decent rock. It can make a decent clang this time
10
of
pounds
night.
is nothing to me. 15.
15. Yeah, sure. I reckon what that will mean is that it's going to have disadvantage on a perception check at the beginning of its turn.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
Okay.
That's your action, right?
That's my action.
That's your action.
Bonus action. Could I just immediately slip into a shadow to hide?
Yeah. Roll me a stealth check.
That is a 4, but I have a plus 8 on.
A plus 8.
Yes.
That's nice.
So that is a 12.
Yep. As far as this beast is concerned, you're gone.
Okay.
That is Radiant's turn.
Okay. So I immediately cast shield.
Okay. You cast that as a reaction.
Yes.
So technically, the way shield works is shield is triggered by an attack.
So I have to cast it. I can't.
You can't cast it until you're attacked. You can cast things like mage armor.
Okay.
As an action, but shield is specifically triggered by a damage by
then
taking
I would like
damage.
to cast mage armor, please.
You'd like to cast mage armor.
Yeah, I would love to.
Very interesting.
I'd
Absolutely.
love to cast the mage armor.
Describe how that looks as it starts to take effect.
So there's something very particular when Radiant walks into the room. He holds a very specific deck of cards, which he has upon him, and he tucks that away immediately. And what he does is he also has a little kind of a pendant kind of round his neck. And all he does is kind of almost touch it a little bit, and almost like he waves this energy out. And suddenly this just amazing kind of like, almost like a shower of light just goes like that, and it just kind of completely covers him, and then it disappears. You can't see it anymore, but you just see this thing happen. And you just touch it, waves it, and it just happens. He's done this before. He's done it quite a few times.
Beautiful. You're about 60 feet away. Do you want to move
I do.
any closer?
I would. So I'm assuming that the distraction worked?
Yeah, it's not currently looking at you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'd like to move, because I've got 35 feet walking. I'd like to, I'd like to go round behind it. So I'd like to, if the entrance is here, I would like to move kind of closer to halving the distance where we're at.
Yep.
And then just kind of like hide behind a little rock.
Absolutely. So you've got, so the mausoleum is in front of you. This creature, essentially kind of outside the doors. There's 2 steps that lead up to the doors, but this creature is on the flat ground outside it. In front of them, so almost in a straight line, as if you've come through the gate and gone towards the mausoleum, are Dolly and, you don't know where I's gone, but, and you move around to the right-hand side, and you're among the monuments and these darker stone figures.
Yeah.
And you're 30 feet away?
Yeah.
Great.
So he kind of tucks in and just hides himself behind one.
Sure. You can't mechanically hide, but I'll let you feel like you have. That is this creature's turn. And it's just going to use its turn to roll a perception check. And if it manages to roll a perception check, we'll see who it sees, and it will turn its head. But it's rolling with disadvantage because of I's creative use of mage hand. Okay, well, it rolled a 3 on the first one. It has a -1. So it rolled a 3 and an 8, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So this creature's head, as you throw this rock, it clatters to the ground near the mausoleum, and you see it sort of jerk its head round towards the mausoleum, towards the noise of that rock, and this, as it does so, it kind of bites down finally on this stone leg that it had in its mouth, and this kind of dust cloud sort of emanates out in all directions. Kelnis, that is your turn.
Okay. I think I've observed I move off and then suddenly just disappear. And I see this creature, and as it turns to look at where the stone was thrown, I just move to the left.
Yeah,
Is that
sure.
helpful?
Yeah, that is helpful.
So I move to the left and like a flanking maneuver. I'm not ready to attack yet, perhaps,
fine.
because we don't know exactly what's going to happen here.
Yep.
But I just kind of move to the side so that I'm not directly behind other members of the party.
Great. So you're essentially spreading and fanning out. Now, what
Yeah.
you can do, now that we're in combat, and even if this isn't particularly canon, I believe this is how it works. You can hold your action, but you have to name a specific triggering event. So you say, like, I want to prepare an action to cast a spell, because we're now in initiative, but I want to do it when that creature turns around, the first time that creature turns around, or if any of my companions are attacked, I want to be able to. So you can kind of almost be floating around the initiative order until the start of your next turn, waiting for that triggering event, if you like. Does that make sense? Or you don't have to. Or you could use your action to hide. You could use your action to, hide.
I think just for the fun of it, I think I'm aware that this may turn into a battle. So I do my flanking maneuver, and it's a spell again. Can I say what I want to do if something happens?
Absolutely.
With the spell? So I think should the creature begin to attack one of us, then I would like to hold that action and cast Entangle.
Great. Yeah, love that. Love that. Fantastic. That's super cool. So, should a creature be attacked, should anyone be attacked, you can cast Entangle. Just remind me that you want to do it. Great. Dolly.
I'm going to look at this huge lizard just chomping down on rocks and just being like, seeing you there chewing on rocks just makes me feel a little bolder, but let's see how you like it. And she's going to reach her hand out and cast Shatter.
Okay.
Which is a Constitution saving throw.
A Constitution saving throw.
Phenomenal puns from the get-go.
Okay. That is an 18.
Okay, so it's half damage.
Okay.
And it is 3d8, I believe. Yes, that's right, 3d8. So where are we at? I should have got my d8s really.
I have them all categorized.
I like that everyone's like holding their. I'm killing this mother. Right up, not waiting around. 1, 2, and why are the d8s always the hardest to see?
They are.
So that's 8, 13.
13. Okay, halved to 6.
Yeah.
So this thing takes 6 damage. You see its attention as you cast Shatter on it, and it's this cloud of, again, more dust, as if it disturbs all the dust of the stone that's previously got caught in its pores and in the folds of its eyes and on the tips of its spines. And its head that has been over towards the mausoleum sort of snaps back to neutral. It's not looking at any of you guys, but it's absolutely now aware that you're all there. Not all, that you are in front of it and aware of its situation.
Right now, I think it's just me.
Jingling.
Anything else you want to do on your turn?
No, just stand.
Just having a time of my life. Endelian.
I can't believe the tiefling has just run in, has done that. So naturally, I'm going to try and run in behind you to inevitably try and get a swing in before it comes around to absolutely batter you.
Great. Yeah, go on. Get yourself in there.
That is a 7, but my strength is +4.
You see this cloud of dust, and as you approach, running in and swinging your sword, this dust sort of goes into your eyes and your mouth and your nose, and just at the point of that swing, you feel the sound. You can feel the air hissing past you as you miss this creature. But you do, of course, with your 2-weapon fighting, if you want it, have your bonus attack.
I will. Which is a 6 plus 4.
A 6.
It's 10.
So again,
Oh, that's
it's
okay.
just so there's this kind. It looks kind of amazing. Those of you who can see it, it looks metal as hell, but it looks very much like you're going through maneuvers rather than actually attempting to inflict any damage. So there's this swipe through, and then as a dagger flashes in the dark. This beautiful dagger, ornate pommel. But there we are.
Tiefling!
Nothing but air. Don't blame
that
me.
is the first attack. So, Calnus.
Yes. So
Well, in fact, I suppose technically it hasn't attacked.
It hasn't attacked.
It hasn't
us.
attacked.
hasn't attacked.
It hasn't attacked. So that's nonsense. So instead, what happens?
Yes. So
nothing's
I
been
don't do
triggered.
anything,
Yeah.
I'm just
yeah.
watching.
No, nothing's been triggered yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go back round to the top of the order and we move to I.
If I try to perceive any sort of weaknesses, weak spots,
That's your turn.
that is my turn.
That's your turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in that case, then I would like to simply take aim from the shadow, from my hidden position. Do I have a clear shot, sort of, at the head?
Yeah. I mean, you have a clear shot. Kind of the way D&D works is there's no such thing as aiming for a headshot, really.
Cool.
It's HP is less an indication of physical health and more it is an indication of a desire to continue to fight. And so your desire to continue to fight is diminished rather than like, I want to try and cut one of its legs off. Sometimes that will be appropriate, but often it won't be.
Okay. Well, I just want to take a shot from the shadows.
Take a shot from the shadows, Sugar.
7. But what is the stealth? What is it to get the with the advantage?
It's Dex.
Is it dex?
Roll me. I'll tell you what. Roll me a stealth check first.
Okay.
For that. So log what that was in your head.
7. So then it was with dex.
Yeah.
Was it?
And plus your proficiency because you're proficient in that weapon.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. 9.
And the stealth is a
with the
9.
Stealth, but that is going to be a 17.
Great. So you are attacking from hidden. That's a successful stealth check against this creature, so you can actually roll with advantage for this attack.
Okay.
So what was your first result?
So it was 7.
7 in total.
No, so with the modifier, it was
With
a
your
13.
dex modifier and it was a
13.
and your proficiency as well.
You're going to have to.
Yeah. No,
So
great.
then so then proficiency in that weapon would give it a
So proficiency would give you a +2.
+2. Oh, okay, cool. Then so 15.
Okay, roll again. Let's see if you crit. Let's see if you hit.
9.
Okay. That both of them are good enough to hit. So you do
Okay.
get this crossbow bolt off into the flesh of this creature. It pierces this scaly hide, kicking up another sort of small billow of dust. Roll your damage.
Okay. 2
Plus your dexterity,
plus my dexterity, so 8.
8.
Yeah.
So those of you who haven't spotted where I is, which I guess kind of is all of you, just hear this twang from somewhere in the shadows as this crossbow bolt pierces the back of this creature that gives this sort of strangled cry. You got a bonus action. Do you want to hide again?
Yes, I would like to. Yeah. I want everyone to just be in a moment of going. Where the hell?
So roll a stealth check.
Okay. 15 plus my 8.
You do
So,
it.
I mean, yeah.
You do it. Absolutely. This you disappear. Do you want to stay in the same place? Do you want to kind of move around?
I would like to. So I guess
Right now, if you imagine that they're the centre of the clock, you're at 6.
I'm at 6. I would like to move round to about 3.
Sure.
So if I've noticed that you have moved round to the left,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to kind of get thinking that the attention might be over here, maintain my advantage in the shadows and hidden
Yeah.
on around a 3.
Yeah. Great. That is Radiant's turn.
Yeah, so I'm probably I am about 30 feet away from
Yes.
this thing. Its attention is not on me, it's on you guys, right?
At the moment, it's not looked at anybody.
It's not looked at anybody. I would like to move in. But why not? Let's add some peril here. I would like to move in, and I would like to cast. If I cast Hypnotic Gaze, does it have to have already seen me in order to cast Hypnotic Gaze?
That's an interesting question. And is Hypnotic Gaze a...
It's an action.
Hypnotic Gaze is not a spell, though, is it? It is
No.
a
So I can't-
class ability, so it doesn't require a spell slot.
No.
Yeah, it's an action.
Yeah. It says you can choose one creature that you can see and can see or hear you. So it hasn't. That's absolutely fine.
It could definitely see or hear you.
I would like to cast Hypnotic Gaze on this creature. So I literally sneak up to it, behind it, and I...
You say you have to be within 5 feet of it in order to do
so I've
this.
moved.
So you walk proudly towards this creature. Hey you. Hey.
Do I? Yeah.
I think you have.
I do. I already have. I already have. I move towards this creature, and I brazenly touch it and keep it in its. It almost like it's stunned. Do I have to roll anything for Hypnotic Gaze?
It rolls a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. So your spell save DC will be 8 plus your proficiency bonus, which is 2, plus your spellcasting ability modifier, which for you will be whatever your plus is to intelligence.
Which is +3.
Okay, so it needs to beat a 13 on a wisdom saving throw. It rolls a 14. It has a -1.
Makes
It passes.
Yes.
And although we're moving slightly out of order here, as you attempt to do that, I'd like you to roll me, as these eyes meet yours, a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no. Oh no.
Dude.
Oh no.
I roll this one.
This is what you get for throwing pebbles in the pool.
Here we go.
Poor acorn.
For Ashraf. For Ashraf.
Oh no. Oh no. What did you roll? Oh no.
I rolled an 8.
Okay, you rolled an 8.
But what do my Constitution is +2, so 10.
Okay, 10. The others of you who can see this, which I think is all of you, see that as Radian walks towards it, approaching this creature, reaching out his hand, he's within 5 feet of it. As its eyes turn to him, he stops still. And you can see that from the ground up, his legs are going grey.
Oh no.
Idiots.
That is the basilisk's turn. Oh, it's a basilisk. It is going to... It's going to make its bite attack at you, buddy.
Yes, it is.
It has a reach of 5 feet, which is perfect.
Does my held spell
yes, it
happen
does.
now, or does it happen after
this could happen now. This could
Yeah.
absolutely happen now. It technically didn't attack, but it's certainly done some damage. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
you could roll you could do your entangle. Tell me about entangle. Give me the language of the spell.
Okay, so entangle. It's just one action. 90-foot range, so I'm within range.
Uh-huh.
How much do you want to know?
All of it. The whole,
Okay.
everything on the card.
All right. Grasping weeds and vines spout from the ground in a 20-foot square starting from a point within range. For the duration, these plants turn the ground in the area into difficult terrain. A creature in the area, when you cast a spell, must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends.
Okay. Great. I'll tell you what we'll say about this then. There is a way of, if you cast it centered on the center of the basilisk,
That's the
you'll
idea,
also
yeah.
get radiant. But there is a way to kind of center it a little bit further away so that it just hits the basilisk. But what you'll effectively do is create an entangled area in the steps that lead up towards the mausoleum that everyone would have to be aware of. But you can cast it in such a way that radiant's not in it.
So I already see that his legs are turning gray.
Yeah.
Can I make an assumption?
Roll me. You can roll me insight, or you can roll me arcana, whichever one you fancy.
Ooh. Insight, then, please. 4.
Okay. It's God.
Stepped in something
God,
weird.
God, it's dark. God, it's dark tonight. Man, it's dark. It's not until you get into combat that you really realise how dark it is. Maybe he's doing a bit. Who knows? He's certainly stopped.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on. I think then, as I don't know whether Radian is just standing still for purposes of looking cool
Thank you.
or not, I'm going
he
to try
really
to center
does.
the spell as far from Radian as I can,
Yep.
but still capture the creature.
Yep. Great.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and avoid the steps of the mausoleum. I want to avoid everything except the creature.
Okay, so what you can do in order to do that, what you are doing is Endelion is in range. She's within 5 feet, and she's sort of 6 o'clock. At 3 o'clock is Radian. I'll do it like that so you can see it for you. So really, the only place you can do it, you can kind of push it over to this side, and it won't quite catch them. But you are going to get some of the stairs. There's no way of avoiding it.
Okay, well, it doesn't last long anyways, so
Okay.
I think I'll go ahead and do that.
Save me, Cal.
And just see if I can slow this beastie down before it does any real
So
damage.
it needs to roll a strength saving throw or be restrained. It's pretty good strength, but it rolled a 3 on the die, so that won't matter. So this creature is restrained. So what I'll say that does is it effectively impedes its ability to move its head. So it can only kind of attack the things that are currently directly in front of it. Its speed becomes 0, and it has disadvantage on dex throws. And now attack rolls against this creature have advantage, and its attacks have disadvantage. Speaking of which, it is going to roll with disadvantage to attempt to bite.
I'm not going to silvery barbs because it sounds like that's fine.
To attempt to attack Radian. So that is its lower roll. Let's see what it does on the other one. A 9 and a 15. So that is a 14 is its lowest roll. What is your armor class, given that you've also cast mage armor on yourself?
What do I get as a
So-
bonus on mage armor when I cast it?
So I believe mage armor. Ooh, that's a very good question. It's either a plus
think
2 or a plus 5. I think shield is a plus 5. So mage armor. Your AC is now 13 plus your dexterity modifier.
Which is plus 2.
Plus 2. So it's a 15. And what did I say?
14.
14. Oh, Nelly. So you see as you feel this coldness, Radiant, just kind of creeping, not even at first creeping, then flooding up the lower half of your body, and as it reaches your waist, this creature's toothy mouth opens up. I very nearly did the Matt Mercer toothy more there. This great toothy mouth opens up and goes to envelop you, and just as it goes to envelop you, it's sort of pulled back, and you see these vines lash across it, wrap around it, and the creature is thrashing back and forth, trying to move its head, but it's locked in place.
And Radian doesn't flinch.
Because he can't flinch.
Because he's turning to stone.
Cal, that's actually your turn again, because you held
is
your
it?
action. Yeah, perfect timing. Held your action all the way till then.
Okay, so I think as it's entangled, I'm going to keep my distance, but I now know that this is an issue, obviously. So I'm going to grab my sling from my waist, and I'm going to load it up with whatever I load and grab a pebble off the floor.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you have a collection of pebbles
steel
for just
ball.
this. And I
give it a good.
Okay. You can roll a ranged attack, which was using your dexterity modifier, plus your proficiency bonus. So, what's your dexterity?
Dexterity 16 plus 3.
Plus 3, so it's plus 3. So it's plus 5 to the roll. You can roll it twice and take the highest score, because this creature with these vines that you've put on it is so restrained that you have advantage on those attacks.
Okay, so it's plus 5.
Plus 5. Roll twice, take the highest number.
16.
And then let's see.
21.
I mean, you're going to hit, but let's see if you crit.
And a 9.
Okay, so it is 1d4 plus your dexterity bonus.
Okay. 3 plus 3, 6.
6 damage. A pebble slams into the side of this basilisk that again it goes as if to kind of arch its back in pain, but the vines restraining it don't allow it to do that. That is Dolly's turn.
Do some damage, please, Dolly.
So there's just chaos all around us, and
That's a running theme for you, I reckon.
yeah. So I'm just gonna look at this thing again and just be like, don't like that you've just done. So let's tip the scales, and I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers. Which
Great.
is a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom
throw
saving
for it.
throw.
Sorry, can I just ask, was tip the scales another
Yes, it was
part?
a part. Of course it
was a
Very
part.
good, very good.
You're playing a bard, for God's sake.
Phenomenal.
That's a 4 on the die, so I don't think it's going to get it on a wisdom save. So unless your spell save DC is 2.
No, it is not.
Right, okay.
What did you
So
cast?
that
Careless
is,
Whispers.
Dissonant Whispers, yeah. It's beautiful. It's
In my
amazing that they got the
headcanon.
rights. Yeah, amazing they got the rights.
That's 3d6 psychic damage, and it must immediately use its reaction to move as far away as its speed allows from me.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Roll the damage, and then it is going to roll a strength save to see if it can run
Oh,
away.
of course. Whoops.
Was it good?
It's medium, but 3.
Roll it again.
I was allowed to do
You're
that.
allowed to do it.
8.
8. Okay. It's starting to look like you notice actually as it starts to kind of try and pull away, and I'll see if it succeeds on a strength save. It rolled a 19 on the die. So I'm going to say it does break free of the entangle, but what it's going to do is it books it towards the mausoleum and is going to roll again to see if it gets entangled again. I mean, this thing is having the worst day ever. And it rolled a... Yeah, it failed. So it's back again. So it's entangled, starts to run up towards the mausoleum, and then is held fast. And now it's facing away from everyone. Now it's facing towards the mausoleum doors. It's held fast in place, like trying to thrash around. Everyone roll me a quick perception check. As if you can do them slow.
I got a 20.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Natural 20.
Natural 19.
Oh my God.
17.
17.
That one.
That one.
We got enough.
What everyone apart from I notices as this thing runs away is that it has manacle, like not the chains, but like the actual locking mechanisms of manacles around its 6 legs. And where those manacles have been attached, you can see this kind of raw flesh around the edges of the manacles. And that is Endelion's turn. This thing is now in the vines. So in order to get into it, you risk being entangled yourself. But you do have ranged options that you can use on it.
Yeah. Normally I would just hit it, but I don't think. I mean, I could probably survive a strength throw because it is.
You're pretty beefy.
Yeah, I'm pretty beefy.
You're pretty beefy.
You know what? Let's do it.
Great. So roll me as you move into these vines. What is your spell save DC again, please, Calnus? Which is 8 plus your proficiency bonus, which is 10 plus your wisdom modifier.
What? Say that again?
8 plus your proficiency bonus, which is 2, making a 10. What's your wisdom modifier?
+3.
+3, so you have to be a 13 strength saving throw.
Okay.
Come on.
I got an 18.
Just strides out. You see these vines like reaching up, like when you see adoring fans trying to kind of grab at us. So that's what's kind of happening, and she's just parting the waves.
Get off.
You can get all up in this thing's business.
And I will.
Okay.
I'm
Roll an attack with advantage,
a 13.
and roll again and take the higher.
Nat 20.
Right. So you double your damage. So roll your damage die, whatever
which
it
is which is that now for me?
So what are you? What is your weapon? What weapon are you using?
It'd be a long sword and a
Okay.
dagger. So
Okay, so a long sword.
is it long sword?
Long sword is probably
No,
a two-handed
I-
weapon, so it would,
so
it would
be-
probably be a short sword.
Yeah, so short
Which
sword.
I think is a D6. It
Yes,
is
it is.
1d6
that one.
piercing. So roll
So
2
she's
regular
D6.
die.
Okay, 2
2
regular.
D6.
4
Yep,
and 6.
6.
Yes!
So it's 10 damage plus your proficiency bonus, which is your strength modifier. So
Which is +4.
so it's 14
Yeah.
on your first attack.
Yep. And then
And then you can
roll a d6 again. for my offhand.
You roll a d20 for your offhand, see
So-
what you get.
Offhand is 11,
And you'd roll it with advantage again, because it's still restrained.
which is a 12,
12, plus your strength is...
plus 4.
So
you
16.
hit. Yeah, you hit, and plus your proficiency would make that an 18, so
Yeah.
you hit. So roll your damage on that. So it's 14 damage on the first one.
Plus 4.
Great, so it's 18 damage. I mean,
And
and
I'm going to action search.
amazing. So you can roll your main hand attack again with an action surge.
So that's
it's a d20.
which is a 4 this time.
Okay, I'm afraid with that next one, overconfident for the moment, and Delian has a big old whiff. But
It's narratively very satisfying.
oh, it's gorgeous! It's gorgeous. And Delian, that's your turn.
And
Yep.
what a turn.
This thing's looking hurt.
Yeah. I'm a level 3 rogue. I'm obviously going to, from my shadowy position,
Yeah.
have a shot with my crossbow.
Roll me a stealth check to see if you stay hidden.
18 plus
Yeah.
8 times 12.
So stay so hidden. And actually, last time I made a mistake. So let's try and roll. See if you hit.
See
And
if
you
I
can
hit.
roll with advantage.
Or with advantage. That's a nat 20.
Okay. So one can't roll much higher than that.
Yeah.
So you can roll your damage die twice.
Now, I get it's a 1d8 plus 4.
Yeah.
It's
so
not
you
plus
can
4
roll that.
for the other
So roll that twice. So 1d8,
2.
2 plus
2.
2 plus 4 is 8.
Yep.
And now you can roll 2d6 sneak attack damage. I forgot the first time round. You can roll them this time.
It's a 1.
That's okay. 9.
That's a 6.
Tell me about the last moments of this.
I see this miss, this whiff, but I mean the first hit, and I'm like, we's good. And then I rack up, I bolt in. I stand up, line up the shot, and I say, and we's feeling lucky. And I let fly the bolt.
You see this bolt, and Delian, you see it kind of whiz past you. Just as you miss, you brought your eyes down to the left, and you see this bolt shoot past your vision. You feel the breeze from it. It embeds itself into the back of this basilisk, which goes to scream and writhe but can't, and instead it just slumps to the ground. Radion, roll me another Constitution saving throw.
Come on.
Yep.
No.
A 2.
2. Radian turns to stone. Radian is stone. And the moment of triumph of this creature felled, and the drip of blood down the steps of the mausoleum. And as you turn to celebrate, you see that held in place, suddenly turned into stone, is Radian. And the doors to the mausoleum open. And there are 2 figures, either side of a third. These 2 figures, great hulking heavies. And in the centre of them is an emaciated, pale humanoid. Pale-skinned, and you see skeletal ribs through layers of tightly wound bandages that encase its body, strips of ragged cloth. And he takes in the scene, and he waves his hand, and the vines disappear. And he looks at you all and says, "The web is wide." And he moves down the steps of the mausoleum. Doesn't even look at this basilisk dead on the floor. I had hoped that he at least was a degree more competent than this. And he puts his hand on Radian's chest. And Radian, your vision that had darkened, this encroaching grey-black behind your eyes, opens, and despite the darkness of the night, it feels like the brightest light you've ever seen. And the rest of you, what you see is this skin tone starting to re-emerge over Radion. You see it go up his neck. You see the scars, the vivid red of the scars against the pale white flesh. You see the whiteness of his hair, the whiteness of his one eye, and the effervescent, ever-changing colour of the other eye. And Radion, you're restored. You've cheated death. Everyone roll me history checks, please. Go on.
Oh.
Go on.
Nat 20.
Okay, what we got, Dolly?
4.
4.
7.
11, but I have a minus, so 10.
10.
I have a 10 plus 2.
Okay. 10 and above. You have heard of a creature called the Spinner, a lieutenant of the web, perhaps its highest lieutenant. What you recall that you overheard in your very first days is that the Spinner is the hand of the Spider Prince, the leader of the web. That the Spinner, and you remember his description as an emaciated body wrapped in pale cloth, with haunted, sunken eyes, lamp-like in the dark. You recall hearing that he is to be feared more than any in the organization, that he has power that he wields not indiscriminately, but with unmatched ferocity. This figure stands in front of you and says, "You have passed the test. How delightful. You succeed where many have failed. I would not have thought it of you, but sometimes the whole is greater, it seems, than the sum of its parts."
There was a compliment in there somewhere.
Yeah. I would like to reach down and just from the ground find 2 acorns.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to walk over, give one to you, and then turn in my palm and go, "They is good. We is good."
Roll me persuasion with disadvantage. Roll twice, take the lowest.
Okay.
What? It's a natural 20.
Yeah.
Roll twice, take the lowest.
19.
Very decent.
Yeah, I'm going to keep using these.
You
dice.
see a look pass across the Spinner's face. It's not a smile. It's not warmth. But it seems to be a certain thawing of the cold. And he reaches his hand out and he touches the side of your face with it. And even through your cold-blooded frame, you feel his hand is like ice. And he says, "I wondered why they left you alone against their nature. Meeting you, I thought I'd understand, but I'm more confused than ever." And he takes the acorn and puts it within the folds of his cloak, his wrap of bandages. There is a greater task that lies ahead for you. Strange messes of disparate parts that you are, including you. And he looks at you, Radion. So far from home, farther than you. can imagine. We live in a time of peace, they say, yet just as the moon rises, as the sun sets, darkness follows light, and there is a darkness coming. A great darkness that will pour over the Alanites like a flood. The web needs to know whom it can trust. It seems it can trust the 5 of you. And he clicks his fingers. You see that his nails are kind of long and beginning to curl, and one of these heavies at his side produces a bag from behind them, hands the bag, and he gestures, nods for you to get it by, hands the bag to you.
I take the bag and immediately turn, and I open the bag, but it's not like for me to see what's inside.
Mm-hmm.
It is a opening out as sort of
Chris
for,
Packet on a pub.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Everyone be like, come on. Nature's bounty.
I tear, I lay it out.
Feed my children.
It is a now as I do this, is there a chance to see inside, or is it or,
Absolutely.
So I open it up and I present to the
masks. Elaborate, beautiful masks that brightly coloured, patterned, intended to obscure the features of the face. Let's have Kelnis, Endelion, and Dolly roll me history with advantage. The others of you, I don't think, would have any clue what this is. So roll twice, take the highest.
It's a natural 19
Natural
for a
19.
21.
21?
17.
17.
But I have a -1, so it'll be a 16 for me.
16?
11.
11. You'd know immediately, Dolly. Kelnis, even with your relatively modest role, you'd know these are masks that they wear in the city of Escalon. And what you'd know, Dolly, is these are the masks that the gentry wear in the city of Escalon at these extraordinary parties that they throw.
She's just going to start clapping her hands.
And the spinner looks at the 5 of you and he says, in the city of Escalon is a man called Alea Dakar. He must be snuffed out. And that's where we'll end our session.
Oh my gosh!
D&D, baby!
Yay! Amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody so much for watching. That's session 0 of Natural 6. Hopefully plenty more to come.
It has to be. We can't leave it
there.
Oh my god.
Cool. Sick.
Yeah, that was Natural 6.